Hey guys, just another friendly reminder that we're battling the forces of evil. Whether you like it or not, as the elites believe it's some real wacky, crazy stuff, all of this as this has been put on the front display for the American people as Pam Bondi now is testifying in front of Congress, and it is fiery, but mostly peaceful, as CNN would declare it, as truly some of the statements are bewildering. They're kind of bizarre here. Listen, there's a lot of critical things to say about Pam Bondi, but this problem has existed way before her, as there's a history of a lot of the attorney generals of the United States aiding, abetting, and protecting some of the worst elements of our society. Why are they being protected? Are we going to get any closer with the testimony that's happening right now to try to understand what in the world is happening with an active cover-up of some of the most powerful people in the world? No. But the stock market's up a couple points. Oh, as a lot of this is just getting very uncomfortable. We're going to get into the history here. We're going to get into some of the latest testimony. We're going to get into the White House now and their statements. As I would say, the best type of defense here, the best type of logical approach here has been done by J.D. Vance. That probably used some secret Palantir AI hive mind tech to create the perfect talking point to deal with their algorithm data collection systems that are now understanding what people are really pissed about. We're also going to get into Donald Trump here. Catherine Austin Fitts had some interesting accusations against him. And again, once we see the evidence, we will make determinations. Lots of people hate Trump. Lots of people love Trump. We are calling it out exactly like we see it without blind allegiance to either side. If you appreciate that, because that's rare right now. You see a lot of people just foaming at the mouth. I hate them. That's not a holistic, natural approach. Other people are saying, I love him in the feet and everything he walks on. Can I kiss his feet, please? And I'm like, that's not intelligent either, right? Let's. He does good. We say he does good. He does bad. We say he does bad. That's that simple. All right. Let's stop pretending like the stripper actually likes you. Okay. Let's stop doing that. Anyway, if you appreciate these types of videos, subscribe. Click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time that you spend with us here on this brand new channel. Now, when we look at some of the faces of the individuals involved here, it's frustrating, right? A lot of this has been like pulling teeth. It's not easy, right? Only because of public outcry, only because of, and this is why I say these videos matter, your voice matters. People are saying, people are all black-pilled, but the one white pill here is understanding that this administration sort of is acquiescing to the will of the people. And the will of the people need to have a concerted message of, this is bad, this is awful, please take it seriously. Please follow the rules of the laws that we have on the books now and investigate the very big, powerful people in our society that clearly are implicated in some extremely evil stuff. That should be the concern talking point. Let's forget about politics, forget about the left, forget about the right. Let's stop trying to be, look at the stock market controlled by the same billionaires that are predominantly on the list. Stop with the partisanship, and let's all hyper-focus, laser beam focus, and this matters. Let's stop making it personal. Pam Bondi made it very personal today, and is making it personal. Stop making it very personal. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. We're getting disclosures of powerful people doing some really weird, evil stuff. Can we please hold them accountable to the same standards of the law that everyone else is held to? That's the simple message, right? That's all we need. And we're getting Pam Bondi calling members of Congress washed up lawyers. How?
I mean, you can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Time, and I should get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I
Not
said
a
that
few more,
already.
45 seconds.
Okay.
I mean, you can let her filibuster all day long.
A little chaotic. as one member of Congress got frustrated with Pam Bondi talking on and not addressing the direct questions, kind of pointed to her, and there are a lot of direct questions. I made a couple predictions talking about how Pam Bondi is kind of a Bush neocon type of Republican that doesn't have the best regards, in my opinion, for the First and Second Amendment. I was a little bit critical when she first got in, and it looks like a lot of my criticisms that I was told were just Trump derangement syndrome were kind of right. As, of course, the DOJ now is spending resources on going after binary triggers. They have weird rhetoric around the Second Amendment. They have weird focuses on going after triggers with firearms. They're spending resources on that. As people are saying, like, why are we spending resources going after and trying to restrict the Second Amendment when we should be spending those resources? As Pam Bondi is saying, we spent a lot of resources here. And look, the Dow. Look at the Dow. And I'm like, not a good answer, as the vast majority of Americans that just want justice here are not going to be placated and bought off here with the rigged financial system that is doing good. We'll get into this clip. We'll get into more clips. We'll get into the history of everything. We'll get into people making this about Trump and other people. We'll get into all of it. Before we do, just really quickly, check out wearechange.shop. One of the great supplements. It looks like we have sold out of a lot of the supplements. I'm like, why are we not on top of this? Anyway, we have magnesium glycinate in stock. You can still buy stuff. It's just on back order. It'll just take a little bit longer to get to you. I apologize for people. But when it says in stock, it's not stock. We got magnesium glycinate in stock. I love it. I appreciate it. Lots of people. This is from Vidya Parama reporting. Hey, ever wake up in the middle of the night with calf locked up in pain? That's not random. Muscle contracts with calcium. They relax with magnesium. And that's why we have 2 magnesium products available on wearechange.shop. We have the magnesium glycinate, which I take with my last meal of the night. I like to cycle on and off. Our foods used to have magnesium in it. They don't. Lots of people are deficient in magnesium. It's very difficult to test for magnesium. But if you are dealing with a lot of magnesium deficient symptoms, try magnesium glycinate after talking to a medical professional. We also have magnesium mist, which is magnesium spray that you put on whatever muscles are spazzing up. I always have, the older you get and the more you work out, it's like your muscles are like, it's like, I'm not going to comply with you. Magnesium mist, also something that we have available. We have a lot of bundles that you could buy a lot of the stuff with. We have the for him, for her bundle that has the magnesium mist here. Magnesium mist, 15 left in stock here. You spray it on your calf or your feet, the bottoms of your feet before you go to sleep. I take magnesium glycinate, and a lot of people are saying nothing could literally ruin your day. Now, these people are using other products, but we have the same type of products available on wearechange.shop that supports independent media, supports your own health journey, as of course we have all of this stocked up literally in the back of my guest room. I'm very happy I do. It's like perfect apocalypse survival things that I just have available to me, which we could trade and barter when the financial system collapses. But the financial system is doing great. Economy's doing great, according to Pam Bondi. Doing great, guys. Stock market's through the roof. You're going to need some magnesium glycinate to sleep during these difficult times. Get it at wearechange.shop. Great supplement, great product, only available to you. And wearechange.shop. Here's this weird defense of Pam Bondi now, who people say is crashing out here. Because, like, there's no investigations. People aren't held accountable. They're not following up. They're not calling these people. Members of Congress that are brave are saying, guys, we're going to need you to testify. And then the people are coming in. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. It's also frustrating. And we're like not getting anything here. But if the government comes in, it's like, hey, we're pressing charges. You could rat, you could snitch. If you do, we'll give you a lesser charge. What was really going on here? Then they have incentives. Like, hey, you're going to jail. You could prevent going to jail by letting us know what's going on here. The government can hold these people accountable. They're choosing not to. And it's a very uncomfortable situation. As I'm going to do the next video is going to be about Alex Jones freaking out here. I agree with him freaking out. I agree with his assessments here. I think they're very important. And I think we need to have a very serious discussion about all of that. But here's Pam Bondi. The Dow is doing great.
The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about.
Ma'am, this is a hearing about you guys protecting predators and redacting their names. You can't just change the topics as the American people. The American people want to have this discussion. They want to understand what's going on here. And you're saying, no. Look how great the stock market's done. That's controlled by a few billionaires. Yay. But ma'am, you're in a hearing. As the vast majority of people have some serious questions about you guys protecting a lot of these billionaires. Stock market's great, though.
We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what is a Dow?
The American people aren't safe. There's billionaire predators out there that are still like literally grabbing up children and hurting them, right? There's still extremely powerful people out there hurting children.
Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan,
Committee will be in order.
Mr. Jordan, am I going to get an extra 45 seconds added to my time?
The committee will be in order. The time belongs to the gentleman from Texas. Ms. Bondi, the Attorney General can respond.
Thank you. The Dow has shattered 50,000 for the first time. This is crazy. They said it couldn't be done in 4 years, yet President Trump has done it in 1 year.
The reactions to all of this are not good for the administration. As people have some choice words for her, as people are saying, it's just pathetic at this point. Why is the AG even mentioning the economy, right? People are saying, what the hell? Yeah. As people are saying, they put money over protecting our children. This should piss everyone off. Yeah. I mean, we're going to be just told, hey, we're making money for you. Shut up. That's essentially what's kind of being said here. People are saying this is moronic. People are saying, quote, you can tell by her voice inflection that she has no clue what she's talking about and is way in over her head. And again, lots of very choice words here, using lots of choice language of people being like, this is not okay, right? Lots of theatrics here, more screaming, less understanding, less answers.
How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
Les Wexner was exposed as a co-conspirator. Why in the world is a co-conspirator in the trafficking of small children still out there on the loose? Why? You guys know he's a co-conspirator. You named him as a co-conspirator. Why isn't any of the charges being brought forward?
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer
theatrics
the
are
question the way I
ridiculous.
asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people,
How many
but
have
I'm
you-
going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to
Reclaiming my time.
the time belongs.
I think it's very
Reclaiming
interesting.
my time.
I think it's very
Reclaiming my
interesting.
time.
Again, you can
When
reclaim
he
your
talks
time,
about they
reclaiming my time,
indicted,
Mr.
the
Chairman.
president said they
Close the
indicted
clock.
him
Mr.
twice.
Chairman, please
They
stop the
sure
clock
did.
and
And
stop the clock and restore his time.
Okay, here we go with these
Committee will be in order.
theatrics.
The time belongs to the
and
gentleman
roll back
from
the
New
clock,
York.
please.
We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when
Reclaiming
you ask
my-
a question, the witness
question
gets to
was-
answer. You may not like the answer, but she
Right.
gets to
The
answer.
question was, how many of Epstein's...
They don't like
Que-
the answer, Chairman.
my time.
Because it's honest.
Reclaiming
So
my-
he asked a
reclaiming my
4-minute
time.
question.
Restore.
She's not answering the question. She's like, the economy's great.
45
And
seconds,
I am
Mr.
going
Nadler, please,
to
Mr. Chairman.
answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch.
Reclaiming-
Not on our time. No way. And I
Yeah, and it is filibustering here, right? And that's the clip that we played earlier here. Now, there's a lot of other questions now about all these underage children. It's pretty clear here, every step of the way, law enforcement, prosecutors, judges, attorney generals failed here every step of the way. In Florida, they were literally running a whole entire type of operations outside of schools. There was a number of children caught here, and Epstein's charges didn't reflect any of that. The search warrant, he was tipped off the day before the search warrant. He deleted and destroyed evidence in his West Palm Beach house before the raid was done here. Now, inside of this room, there's also a bunch of the victims standing behind Pam Bondi that, of course, aren't too happy with the way that everything's being done here, that everything's being, as of course they're of course trying to look at her here. And you would think that this would be a time of like, hey guys, sorry, we failed you. We're not going to fail you now. That would be the right message, right? If you want to restore faith, if you want to get rid of all of the negativity, all of the hatred, all of the nonsense, you just say, guys, I'm sorry I let you down. I'm not going to let you down again. We are going to make sure you guys get justice here. If you're a PR marketing guy, that's the strategy you come with. You don't say, hey, just scream about the economy and everyone's going to forget about the predators that are still running out there in our society hurting. You don't say that. Like, so whoever is handling her, whoever is telling her to do this, whoever is advising her wrong. This is a bad PR strategy. Right? The right strategy is, look, clearly law enforcement, police officers, judges, prosecutors, attorney generals has failed you. I promise I won't fail you. We're going to take this seriously. We're going to go after these people. Standing ovation. Victims crying. Donald Trump takes the political victory here. But then it has to be met with actual legitimate action. This is where the disconnect is, right?
Have you apologized to President Trump? Have you apologized to President Trump, all of you who participated in those impeachment hearings against Donald Trump? You all should be apologizing. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. You know, have you...
And again, what does impeachment have to do? Again, this issue is why Trump is going to be impeached again and why the Democrats are going to win the midterms. This is it. Reputation tarnished. Political will and capital deflated. Lots of people don't have the same kind of fervor and support. And you can't cheerlead something that you wholeheartedly disagree with, that the vast majority of people see as a huge, gross misjustice. Now, again, she's not the only attorney general that's implicated here. Bill Barr, whose father gave Epstein his start at the Dalton School in New York and connected to the CIA, has a lot of explaining to do. He's the other Trump-appointed attorney general that is a major part of this cover-up operation that clearly has a lot of skeletons in his closet here hiding from everything. Alex Acosta, former U.S. attorney in Florida, who negotiated the plea deal, which was insane, also needs to answer about what happened here, and we still haven't gotten those answers. Now, moving forward, how are we going to be moving forward? Mike Johnson just came out and said the Epstein files should remain redacted. why should the U.S. government continue to redact high-level type of predators associated? And again, people say, you're making a stretch that they're predators. They just hung out with them. Well, there's a lot of lying here. We don't know exactly what they are, but we can't give them the benefit of the doubt, absence of any kind of evidence exonerating them. Therefore, the only logical conclusion we can make here is that they were absolutely guilty here. And again, some people aren't guilty, some people are innocent. I get it. I get the nuance. But we need to make this kind of conclusion because it's up to the government to prove to us, hey, yeah, no worry, these guys did absolutely nothing wrong. Prove it. Right? Because so far all we're getting is lies, crazy emails about torture, crazy photos, and this is the stuff that was published. What's the stuff that wasn't published? There's other sicker, weirder, crazy, more insane stuff that wasn't published. There's also other encrypted, self-deleting messages. There's also the financial transactions. And we're being told, no. We're going to keep redacting that, and you better trust us. And that's why we have conspiracy theories, because it's like, you want us to trust you when you lied to me? How many times did you lie to me? All the time, throughout all of this entire endeavor, you lied to me. And now you want me to say, I blindly believe you. I'm sorry, you're not going to be afforded that luxury.
All right. Number 5, national security concerns, okay? The discharge requires the Attorney General to release within 30 days, quote, classified information to the maximum extent possible. This ignores the principle that declassification should always rest, and always has rested, with the agency that originated the intelligence. Why? So that they can protect their critical sources and methods. It is incredibly dangerous.
What sources and methods were used here? As of course, there was an international blackmail, child trafficking operation here. Is that what our tax dollars paid for? Yeah, it looks like it.
To demand that.
And this is where the vast majority of people would be pissed. They're like, really? You took our money? You took our money and then you like did all this like weird stuff with? Caroline Leavitt here kind of announced, there's like a weird image. I'm gonna try to not to put here, but this is the one clip I found of her just a couple hours ago.
And that remains true. And this call, if it did happen, corroborates exactly what President Trump has said from the beginning. And I'm sure many of you, when you read that alleged FBI report, probably thought to yourself, wow, this really cracks our narrative that we've been trying to push about this president for many years. So we're moving on from that. Reagan.
Yeah, we're moving on. See you later. Sayonara. No, this is not the first time this administration said we're moving on. This is not the first time this administration said case closed. And then the whole can of worms opened up. And I warned about this. And I had a bunch of right-wing influencers be like, no, Luke, you're wrong. This is going to go away. No one cares about this stuff. That's not really true, right? Martha Bueno says, saying there isn't enough information in the Epstein files and that we should, quote, move on means you're either part of that group or covering for them. I will immediately regard you as part of the problem. The only thing we should all agree on right now is that there is enough evidence to further investigate Epstein and all of his ties, especially to high level of government and business, as well as money laundering, kidnapping, and other kind of very more serious accusations of quote, cannibalism. Now, we had Lauren Boebert, a member of Congress, that was able to look at some of the redacted files. But by the way, members of Congress are saying, yeah, the DOJ said we could look at the unredacted files, but the search function's gone. We can't really get into it. We can't really see it. As Lauren Boebert came out and says, hey, Epstein and his associates might have been eating people.
There are code words that suggest Jeffrey Epstein and his associates could maybe even be engaging in some sort of consumption. Is that human consumption? Are there code words? There's a lot of talk of beef jerky. There's a restaurant called The Cannibal where the owner is listed in some of these documents. Now,
it is a real restaurant, and it did shut down in New York.
Isn't a restaurant that is just proclaiming to serve human meat by any means. But some of this just, it seems that there's a lot of conspiracies that make you wonder. And I saw more emails about torture, and these coded conversations still have a very clear topic that torture was big. It was a big driver for them. And these were sick people doing very, very sick things.
Yeah. And then we're being told, hey, we're going to keep redacting this. We're going to move on now. See you later. Trump made a very weird statement a couple days ago saying, yeah, it's just a waste of time.
That have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. And in fact, if you look at the DOJ, they announced, they released 3 million pages. It's like this is all they're supposed to be doing. And frankly, the DOJ, I think, should just say, we have other things to do, because that whole thing is starting.
Like going after firearms companies?
I mean, other than Bill Clinton and, Bill Gates and lots of people that there are a lot of questions about it, but nothing on me.
It's more than just questions. The DOJ did release a phone call where Trump was calling the West Palm Beach Department when Epstein was arrested, saying, good, I'm happy you guys got him. There was a lot of personal beef between him and Epstein. They were previously close together. Catherine Austin Fitts talks about this as well. But are there any kind of documents related to Trump that the DOJ is holding back that when the Democrats come into power, they're going to reveal? That's also an option here that I think we need to understand could potentially happen. So far, all of the stuff we're getting is that, again, there has been no evidence highlighting Trump doing any type of wrongdoing. No evidence. But when you're covering up a lot of the evidence and when you're in charge of the release and you're doing a poor job and you're still covering up and redacting a lot of the predators, people are asking the logical question, why are you covering it up? You're acting like you are guilty. So again, no evidence that he's guilty. This is the nuanced point that needs to be made here because we need to be intellectually honest. Right? He could be the great guy that takes advantage, that takes the bulls by the horns and actually holds a lot of these people accountable and actually gives American people justice and restores their faith in the system, in government, in him, in voting. And actually and he could have done that. As soon as he comes to the office, release all these files by himself. My goodness gracious. The support that he would have gotten. The political capital and will he would have been in charge of. But he's not. And now everyone sees him as the guy who's covering it up. That's not good. You destroy your political will, you destroy your political capital. And people are saying, you look guilty. Again, no evidence showing that he is guilty, but a lot of people are saying he's acting guilty by saying stuff like this.
But it was even sort of better than that because they found that Jeffrey Epstein and this sleazebag writer named Michael Wolff were conspiring against Donald Trump to lose the election. So Epstein was conspiring with a writer for me to lose the election.
Well, Michael Wolff here, and there's a lawsuit between Michael Wolff and Donald Trump. Michael Wolff is countersuing Donald Trump. Michael Wolff made some very extraordinary claims about Donald Trump.
So right there, you know that I had nothing to do with this guy. But yeah, it's a terrible thing. The amount of time that's being wasted. You know, when Epstein was alive, like 10 years ago, nobody cared about it. But they're only doing it. But now it's really hitting back on them because Bill Clinton is such a big part of it. The Democrats are pushing it. And the problem is that it's turning out to be the Democrats that were with and conspired with Epstein. So I think you're probably going to see a little pullback from them. But think of it. They were working together to try and help me lose the election. But this is the Oval Office, so I guess that didn't work out too well. Okay, one more.
Yeah, a lot of high-profile, high-level Democrats, billionaires. Reid Hoffman financing Trump's lawsuit mentioned there. Perfect opportunity for Trump to get him. Why isn't he not getting them? Now, in July of last year, Pam Bondi announced the DOJ officially closed the Epstein investigation, saying there's no additional documents, no updates that will be ever released. This was of July of last year. But it hasn't happened. Now, I would say the more kind of balanced, smart approach and response to all of this has been from J.D. Vance. Obviously, it's still a cover-up effort on his part here, but he did it a lot more intelligently than Pam Bondi, than the vast majority of the people, and he did it better than Trump.
Well, I mean, obviously, I've been pretty occupied the last couple of days. I haven't seen Howard getting calls to resign. We'll follow the story a little bit closely, more closely as I get on the plane.
See how he does that brilliantly? Like, this guy is like a verbal jujitsu master. And I'm like, I'm skeptical.
But, you know, fundamentally, I think the Epstein files, what they reveal is certainly you had a lot of very wealthy and powerful people who were involved in some very disgusting behavior. But I do find it's interesting that the congressional Democrats are so focused on attacking the President of the United States. Who's the president who actually authorized the release of these files? It was Donald Trump. And they, you know, what really bothers me about this is that they take completely unsubstantiated attacks against the president, some of which are like completely facially absurd. I mean, the most absurd claim that I saw is that Donald Trump was engaged in sex trafficking when he was a teenage boy, meaning when the president was himself a teenager. Some of this stuff you just have to say, obviously that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and yeah, a straw man of an argument, since there's still major redactions, but you kind of like threaded the needle there and be like, look, Trump released the files, didn't he? And that's true here. Now, a lot of members of Congress are obviously hyper-partisan, and they're just trying to use this for political brownie points here. We had Congressman Lou play this kind of clip of Trump and Epstein partying together. Pam Bondi responded by saying, yeah, there's no actual evidence of Trump committing any crimes here.
I love this. I want to discuss another man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files, like former Prince. Here's a video. Donald Trump, like former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked
It hasn't been that transparent. There was a lot of fighting to get these files out. There's a lot of things happening behind the scenes preventing these files from coming out.
those files.
I reclaim my time. I got your answer.
We still have a lot of reductions that they're mind-boggling. As members of Congress are saying, we're supposed to get the unredacted file, but there's still reductions in them.
President Trump asked
Chairman, please stop the clock. Stop the clock.
The legislation. This is
time.
This is
Time belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is all on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you. Here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop the limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide.
Now, again, lots of people making a lot of weird statements, lots of witness testimony that is just from crazy wonkers people that the FBI decided to take down and report, and then they released this. Now, again, the onus should be on the DOJ to say, hey, this is an anonymous report from a crazy schizophrenic guy. That should be the DOJ has handled this release very poorly. There's other kind of grassroots efforts like jmail.world that are literally bringing everything together so people could actually read and understand the way these documents are actually portrayed there. But just because there's an accusation doesn't mean it's true.
No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronized his operation. And as we say here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
A little tumultuous. Now, Catherine Austin Fitts had a different take on it, as of course a lot of the attention now is on Howard Lutnik. I'm going to do a separate video about Alex Jones. Alex Jones calling for Howard Lutnik to resign here. This is Catherine Austin Fitts in July of 2025, right after the DOJ says, case closed, we're done. No longer talking about this. Stop talking about this. This is what Catherine Austin Fitts had to say.
Trump's Epstein file is bigger than the Encyclopedia Britannica is the way I would describe it. So you being from the Netherlands might not know the Encyclopedia Britannica, but it's a huge, when we were kids, we had a, like 25 volume Encyclopedia Britannica. So, yeah. So he and Epstein were best friends.
Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, for a long time.
Well, you can see the pictures everywhere.
Well, the one I love is, so Epstein was basically part of the Les Wexner operation, and Wexner bought him a house on East 71st Street. So I used to live, I had an apartment on East 64th when I first got to New York. So it was my neighborhood. Anyway.
It looks like Howard Lutnik got the neighboring property for $10. Strange. Again, next video on the main channel is going to talk about him.
So he bought him a house on East 71st Street, and then after a relatively short time, he moved him next door to a much bigger house, which is the one you always see in the pictures of Epstein's house. The first house he sold to Howard Lutnik, who's the Secretary of Commerce and co-chairman of the transition team, right? So Lutnik for many years was Epstein's next door neighbor, which to me intuitively makes a lot of sense because Epstein was primarily a money laundering network, in my opinion. And so having a primary dealer, there are only 24 primary dealers in the New York Fed. And so having a primary dealer who's running the market in Treasury securities is a logical person to put next door. I'm assuming Wexner probably had tunnels built underneath. So anyway, the whole administration is full of Epstein people.
Listen, I don't know who keeps appointing people like Alex Acosta. I don't know who keeps appointing people like Howard Lutnik, but pretty clear here. It's very suspicious, to say the least here. And it makes sense when you start looking at it from this kind of larger point of view. It's like, wow, like there's so much still ongoing. There's so much more still involved here. Here's another exchange here during this testimony that I think is kind of eye-opening, to say the least.
That will be your legacy unless you act quickly to change course. You're running a massive Epstein cover-up right out of the Department of Justice. You've been ordered by subpoena and by Congress to turn over 6 million documents, photographs, and videos in the Epstein files, but you've turned over only 3 million. You say you're not turning over the other 3 million because they're somehow duplicative, but we know that there are actual memos of victim statements in there. And you also took down the Department of Justice's prosecution memo from 2019. So it's clearly not all duplicative, but even if it were, why not release it? Just release all the duplicative stuff. In the half you did produce, you redacted the names of abusers, enablers, accomplices, and co-conspirators, apparently to spare them embarrassment and disgrace, which is the exact opposite of what the law ordered you to do.
That's true. And listen, this is so unfortunate because like all these people are going to get charged as soon as the Democrats come into power. And this is going to be what they're going to do it with.
Even worse, you shockingly failed to redact many of the victims' names, which is what you were ordered to do by Congress. Some of the victims had come forward publicly, but many had not. Many had kept their torment private, even from family and friends, but you published their names,
there was accidental release of those names,
identities, their images on thousands of pages for the world to see. So you ignored the law, and even with over 100,000 employees at your disposal, you acted with some mixture of staggering incompetence, cold indifference, and jaded cruelty towards more than 1,000 victims raped, abused, and trafficked. This performance screams cover up.
But how do you really feel? And again, lots of weird stuff out there. Why are we seeing these reductions? I just don't get it. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's a clear solution here. I pray and wish people have the courage to actually do the right thing. And this is important because if we're not able to do this, our government still is going to continue to be hijacked. It's not an easy situation to deal with. Let's pray. Let's hope for courage. Let's hope for actual justice. I think we deserve it. I think there's a big opportunity here that needs to be taken. If you agree, share this video. Thank you so much for, we're all going to need some magnesium glycinate to help sleep at night after everything that's kind of going on here. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively at youtube.com/LukeRadowski76.